Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Salzburg, Austria, a great place to go to, and we're staying at the Wolf-Dietrich Hotel. It's a hotel with obviously some pretty cool design in their rooms and things like that. And what I thought I'd give you is basically what you should know about European hotels before you come to Europe. Because I'll tell you, the Holiday Inn Express that you get in Champaign, Illinois is not the same as the hotel you're getting in Salzburg, Austria. So what we're going to do is going to go through some of the basic differences so you're kind of prepared for your hotel stay in Europe, okay? Now, I will preface this by hotels are pretty different throughout Europe, but there are some consistencies. Usually, aside from this room, usually the hotels are very small. They're much smaller than you have in the US, and it's a lot more intimate setting. So just be ready to really get to know your neighbors and get to know people on the elevator and at breakfast and things like that, okay? So not as big of rooms, and we'll just start out with that one fact. You're gonna have a lot smaller rooms. But before you actually get your hotel, how do you book your hotel? Hotels in Europe and bed and breakfasts in Europe have gone all in online booking. So your bookings.com, your TripAdvisors, all of these things, you can book through there pretty much any accommodation throughout Europe, and that makes it fantastic. So you can read the reviews and see if it's right for you. Is it for kids? Is it for families? Is it for a romantic getaway? You know, these kind of things. Ooh, the lights come on and everything. You know, what it is you're really looking for. So booking online is a really easy way to do it. Also, you can pay that way. Now, sometimes you might want special requests, and a lot of times when you book online through like a TripAdvisor or Bookings, those special requests, you're not always sure if they're going to actually get through. So you can also call the hotel, and believe me, they'll speak English, or they'll find someone that speaks English. That won't be a problem. Or email them directly, because again, they've gone all in for their online presence, so they'll have websites and Facebook pages and stuff like that, so you can get your information if you need a baby bed or an extra bed or something like that, okay? So booking in Europe, simple as can be. Now, the next thing is when you get to the hotel, you want to find the check-in, okay? Now, check-in in Europe, usually what you're going to have to do, you're going to need your passport and the credit card you booked with. Now, not every place will ask for it, but make sure you have those relatively easy to get. Now, since you're probably coming from the train station, don't have them out, but you'll have your money belt ready to get out, so if you need to get them out, you can. Now, probably you're going to have to fill out on your forms your registration. You're going to need your birthday, address, typical things you're going to need. Some countries, for example, Italy, they need to scan your passport or photocopy your passport and report it to the police, so then you're registered there. Here in Austria, they asked for one passport from our entire group, and that was fine because they're the ones that made the check-in. So some places, everybody in the group will have to put their passports in. Other times, only one person, and that's all. Okay? Now, what's cool is the check-in desks here are usually very helpful. For example, one thing I recommend, always ask for the tourist map when you do go to the hotel. Downstairs, the people here at the Wolf-Dietrich, they got us a map. They're circled. Here you were on the hotel, or here's the hotel on the map. See, it's even got a nice little X. Here's where you go. Here's where I recommend you to go see, go eat, and things like that. And the thing is, the people I find in Europe, the hotel staff, the front desk staff are really well trained in telling you where to go eat, where to drink, where to make merry, how to see the sights, what public transport to take. So that can be really helpful. This thing is going to be your most helpful. Get that tourist map so you don't have to carry around your big guidebooks all the time. You can just have this and have your spots marked off, okay? Now, once you get on check-in, you're going to take your, well, hopefully there's an elevator. There's not always elevators at all these hotels. Okay, so make sure if you have problems going upstairs with heavy luggage, make sure you ask, is there an elevator? Now, 99% of the time there is, but bed and breakfasts in smaller places, there may not be, okay? And when you take the elevator, what you should know is elevators in Europe are significantly smaller than they are in the US, especially the hotel elevators, okay? So sometimes the elevators can take 2 people up or 1 person in luggage. Sometimes you'll have to actually pull a screen across to actually open the door, okay? And one thing that gets Americans kind of mixed up when they come to Europe is the elevator. The ground floor is usually 0 or G for ground floor, or E, in, like for example here, Erdgeschoss, ground floor. They have that, and then the first floor up, that's 1. So you may think, oh, well, it says we're on the 2nd floor. I can walk up 2 flights of stairs. No, that's walking up 3 flights of stairs. Okay, so if you got some big luggage, that can be a little problematic. So elevators, tiny, 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 and you're starting 1 floor up. Now, we've gotten to our room. Now, the thing is, with your rooms here in Europe, yes, you could have keys, or you can have the key cards. It doesn't really matter which one you are. One thing you might want to know is if you get a key that's like a big bell or a big thing on the end, a lot of times the smaller hotels and private hotels will say, please leave your key with us when you leave. Okay, that's why they have 24-hour front desk. If they don't have 24-hour front desk, they're going to let you take your keys. Don't worry about that. But just know sometimes you got to leave your keys. Most of the time you don't. Now we're in the room. Now the most important part of your room is your bed. Beds in Europe. Look, if you get a double room in Europe, it's 2 single beds. Okay, it's not 2 queen beds like you have at a Holiday Inn or a Best Western or something like that. It's 2 single beds. And sometimes you get lucky and you have a double bed like this, which doesn't have a crack in it. But most of the time, again, when they're double beds, they're just pushed together, okay, and you have a crack in the middle. And the funny thing is that crack, we've lost children. We actually lost my dad once because the bed separated. And it was my mom, my dad, and me. We were sleeping in a hotel in Frankfurt. And the crack, I was thinner then, just so you know. And it cracked, and we went this way, then all of a sudden my dad goes funk right through the middle. We've lost Caleb and Liam a couple times too. So be ready for that crack in the bed, okay, which might be a little shocking. Also, if you're traveling with a friend and you don't feel like being very snuggly together, well, the beds you can easily separate, it's no problem, okay? Also, the beds here, a lot of times they're slat beds, okay? They're IKEA beds, and so they have wood slats underneath. If you're a heavy guy like me, you better not be jumping on that bed because you will snap through it and break it, okay? Not a really cool thing to happen, but you should be prepared for that. So, no jumping on the beds. You see your kids jumping on the bed, say, no, 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 it's going to fall apart, okay? Now, what are some other things you might want to know about hotels in Europe? Well, one thing, if you want to go to the bathroom. Now, in the bathrooms here, I'll take you to the bathroom. Okay, so here's the toilet. Now, obviously, the normal sit-down toilet, you have that in Europe. The only times you ever see the hole-in-ground toilets are kind of public toilets, maybe some places in Italy or Eastern Europe. You don't see them too often. So you're always going to have a normal sit-down toilet. And you'll see there's the 2 buttons up top. There's a big button and a little button. The little button is if you do little, like pee-pee. The big button is if you do something bigger. Sometimes you'll see 1 dot or 2 dots. 1 dot, number 1, 2 dots, number 2. Also, some hotels and some bathrooms, you actually have to hold down the button so all the water goes, so you really control the whole flow. So if you do your business, please respect the other people after you and make sure it all goes down. Okay, now, what else do you want to do? Obviously, you want to take a shower when you're here. Okay, so we're in the shower area, the bath area. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Most hotels in Europe don't have the clawfoot tub. This is literally the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in Europe. It's fantastic. But there's one thing that they have here in their shower bathtub area that is very common in Europe, and you have the hold it shower. Now, the thing is, some people will see it and it'll be hung up on the wall, and they won't take it off. You can take it off the wall and use it to bathe yourself just fine. Really great if you got kids, all kinds of stuff. But I met a lot of tourists that didn't realize, oh, I can take that off? Yes, that's why it has the hose, so you can wash around in here. If you've got kids, bathtubs are not very common in the showers, in the toilets in Europe. Usually your shower is very small, and if you're a big guy like me, I mean, sometimes you barely fit in, okay? So just be prepared for that. Sometimes I've actually seen showers where it's literally the shower and the toilet are almost the same place. So just know, again, tiny spaces, tiny spaces. Sometimes it's hard to get everything washed every time, so make sure you're washing. Okay, so what are some other things that are different about European hotels? So another thing you might want to know about is the TV. I know, I'm here to travel, I'm here to explore, I don't have time to watch TV. I agree with you, but the thing is, after going to the salt mines in the morning and going to see the cathedral in the afternoon and then going up to the fortress up on the up on the hill in the evening, you get kind of tired. And after you've eaten all that Wiener Schnitzel and all those great pastries here, you just want to sit back and relax when you get to the hotel, put on the TV, watch a show, and go to bed. Now the thing is, what you should know is TV in Europe is different in every country in terms of the language. Places like Sweden, Finland, Portugal, they don't dub it. All of it will be in English or French or whatever with subtitles on the bottom. Whereas in Germany or here in Austria, they actually dub it into German. So you might see your favorite show. Oh, Doctor Who's on. Awesome. And Doctor Who's speaking German. What? It's because here they're dubbing everything. And that just it depends where you go. Some places actually have some channels that have both. But I will say, here's your kind of given every country hotel room TV guide. You're going to have 4 or 5 local channels, kind of like the ABC network or CBS or NBC, Fox. In the US, you'll have those. You have a couple sports channels, usually Eurosport, okay? You'll have Euro News, which is news in a bunch of different languages. And then you're going to have the traditional CNN International, TV5, or the French TV channel, okay? RT, which is Russia Today, all right? And then you'll probably have like BBC News or maybe Sky News, okay? So a lot of times what happens is the only time, Americans really watch a lot of news and these kind of things is when they go abroad, because that's the only English channel that's on there. Now, what are some other differences in the hotel? Now, in the U.S., we kind of feel like Wi-Fi is our God-given right. Well, in Europe, it's not always the case, but most hotels in Europe will have Wi-Fi. Don't expect a super strong signal so you can watch Netflix. Hey, Netflix doesn't work in every country, by the way. But don't expect a super strong signal. If you got to do work, sometimes you got to go out and find an internet cafe, which are very hard to find now. Now, some other things that are different, and I'll go back to the bathroom kind of stuff. One thing, toilets. You can throw the toilet paper down the toilet just fine. Tampons and feminine hygiene products, usually they'll have bags, and you'll throw those away on the side because a lot of places in Europe, the piping can't handle that kind of stuff, so those kind of products. So make sure Junior is not throwing stuff down the toilet, okay? Now, another thing in terms of the toilets and stuff like that are the towels. Now, just like every hotel, the towels here are like drying with a sheet. Okay, I'll just tell you about that. So expect to use all your towels. In Europe, they do not give you washcloths. Okay, in the last 10 hotels I've been to, one place gave me washcloths. So that's the only one I've ever remembered actually giving me washcloths. So if you're a washcloth person, like my mother's like psychotic about it, and Jocelyn is psychotic about it, they actually bring a stack of throwaway ones. So they use it for a few days at the hotel. Then when they leave, boom, they get rid of it. Okay, so just be ready for that. Also, hotels in Europe are a great place for breakfast. A typical European breakfast, they call it a continental breakfast, meaning continental Europe. You're going to have rolls and bread, slices of cheese, slices of meats, then some jams and stuff to put on top, and usually some cereals. And if you're a nicer place, they might have scrambled eggs or bacon or sausages, depending where you are. So you can get a really good breakfast, a really good meal in the morning to start your day off, so you can go and explore as much as you want and save some money by not having to have lunch or skip a meal because so much of your great breakfasts. Most breakfasts in Europe are from like 7 to 11. Checkout times in Europe usually are between 11 and 12 o'clock, one of those two ones. All right. Another thing you want to look at is the hotel bar. Yes, we all love the bar for the drinks and the snacks and stuff like that. But also, what you need to know is in Europe, a lot of the stores close relatively early. They don't have 24-hour shopping here. So if you need a bottle of water because you're thirsty, hey, the hotel bar might be your only option, whether it's a snack. I know we were in Norway, all the restaurants, everything was closed. I went down to the hotel bar. What can I do? Person at the front desk said, here, come over to the bar. He got me a water and a quick lunch, this Kit Kat thing. And I was fine. Another thing is, if you're looking at hotels, water around Europe, you can drink. It just might not taste good. So that's why you see a lot of Europeans drinking water, whether with bubbles or without bubbles. Some places like Sweden, the tap water is so good, you just want to like sit underneath and go, oh, it's so good. Other places like Berlin's got a lot of chalk in the water, so you take a drink and you're actually thirstier afterwards. So that's why a lot of Europeans drink the bottled water, and your hotel bar can help you out with that. And the last thing I want to talk about is, if you can see I'm a little hot and sweaty here, is the AC, air conditioning. European hotels don't always have air conditioning. They do usually always have heating, so you at least have that, or lots of blankets to warm up to, but some of the times there is no AC, so be prepared for that. That's why, I actually have the windows closed and everything so I can film, but usually you're going to be opening your windows to let the breeze through. The hotels, they'll give you fans and stuff like that to cool off, but usually expect probably not too much AC. Now, if you're in Greece and stuff like that, you'll see units up on the wall, okay, you'll get a remote control for that, all right? So just so you know. Anyway, those are some of the things I think you need to know about booking hotels before you go. If you have other questions about booking hotels, please put it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Or you can write us on Twitter, Facebook. You can write to us, hear the messages on YouTube, and we'll do our best to help you out. But anyway, I hope you have a great time in Europe. If you want more videos like this that help you travel, why don't you click that subscribe button down there, and you get more videos like this every week. And we have videos, how not to get robbed while you travel, or 5 things you love and hate about visiting Austria. We have it all on our website at woltersworld.com, and here on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/woltersworld. Anyway, I'll say goodbye from my cool hotel, the Wolf Dietrich Hotel in Salzburg. I kind of want to lay down and enjoy the view and the lights going around before I enjoy this fantastic city. Anyway, tschüss, or auf Wiedersehen from Salzburg, Austria. Bye.